to Inside Area 9. I'm Kathy Bridgford, your host today, and I'm with the Area 9 In-Home and Community Services Agency, and we have a really neat show for you today. Amanda Marquis from the Leland is with us. Thanks, Amanda, for coming. But more importantly, we have Samson with us today. And we're going to find out how Samson was saved. So Samson is the Leland's dog. Hello, Samson. You're just laying down there very chilled, aren't you? Huh? Yes, you are. Tell us how Samson was saved. It's such a neat story.
Well, actually, about 3 months ago, I had gone to a funeral of a friend that passed away, and there was a dog there, and his name was Butler, and he was actually a grievance dog, and he was well trained and so forth to basically scan the room and see who was needing him to console them. Okay. And so that was kind of what prompted me to start thinking about maybe having a dog at the Leland. And so I contacted the funeral home, and that was a very well-trained dog and golden retriever, and that particular dog was about $10,000, so that was a little out of my budget. So I actually had kind of started putting the word out that I was interested in a lab, or not necessarily a lab, but a dog, a bigger dog. And so actually time had passed. A couple of people had shared with me that they had a dog, and it never was the right fit for the Lelands. So actually the night before Easter, and that was this past Easter, just about 5 weeks ago, I had a friend call me the night before, and he said that he was at a pizza establishment on the east side of Indianapolis, and he had noticed a man walk by with a nice lab, and he was actually on a shoestring and a choker collar. And so Marcus had taken note of that, thought that was strange, that a nice dog, shoestring. So he was in the pizza place for a couple of hours, and when he came out, actually Samson was laying in the parking lot, and all he had was the shoestring on him, and of course the choker chains. So Marcus is a huge animal lover, and so he wasn't about to just leave him until he found the right owner, or he was concerned that he would get in the road. So he actually has 2 large dogs of his own, a German Shepherd and a Black Lab, and so he didn't feel like at that point, late at night, it was appropriate to probably introduce Samson to his dogs. So he actually slept in the car with him.
Oh my gosh.
So he slept in a hospital parking lot, of all things, with Samson in the car. And he was very dehydrated. He drank about 32 ounces of water right out of the bat.
Oh, wow.
And actually, he didn't have anything except leftover pizza, so his first supper was barbecue pizza, and actually he really liked that. So actually Mark stayed in the car with him through the night until he could find a vet clinic that would be open on Easter Sunday. So he did find one and was able to scan him for a chip. And so that's how we know his name is Samson. So we were really excited that, hey, we'll get the dog back to the rightful owner. And actually when the family was called, it was a gentleman that answered. He said that he did not want the dog back, and that he didn't want anybody to call him any further, and please don't give my number out to anybody. So apparently he had been dumped, and so with that, Mark called me, and this was like 8 o'clock in the morning, and said, hey, you know, do you want him? And sight unseen, I said, absolutely. And he said, I'm on my way to Richmond. So we met at the Bark Park so that I could introduce him to my other dogs. I have 2 Boston Terriers, and actually everybody hit it off really well. Samson's not aggressive at the least bit with other dogs, or he's not food aggressive. So it was a really neat addition, and actually we took him back to the Leland, and right out of the gate he would go up to the residents and just be very sweet, and obviously he's very calm. So we took him to the vet, and the vet thinks he's probably about 8 to 9 years old, and because we didn't have any medical history, because the previous owner obviously wasn't cooperative or concerned as far as that goes, we went ahead and had all his shots done, and he does have arthritis in his hips, and that's typical of a dog this size, and he is probably about 15 pounds overweight. So it was sweet when I took him back to the Leland after the vet visit. you know, they were asking, you know, how old is he? And I said, well, and he has arthritis. And they're like, that's okay. We have arthritis too, Samson.
Yes.
So they were really sweet. And,
Yeah.
and I said, well, he needs to lose about 15 pounds. And they're like, that's okay,
Don't we
Samson.
always?
We do too. Yeah.
We all.
And so really he's in very good health. And it's amazing to see the before and after pictures, how he's progressed as far as just health-wise.
Yes.
But quite frankly, he was brokenhearted too.
Yes, he was.
He's a very emotional dog, or what I would say, very intuitive. We have some of the residents at the Leland, some of them have had stroke issues. He's always, it seems like, gravitates towards them. We have a resident that is visually impaired. He always checks on her. And it's just really neat to see how he's very intuitive to them. Or if somebody's upset, he'll go over to them and everything. Of course, he does like treats, so he goes around and also scopes out, especially cheese. He loves cheese. So our nurses like to give him cheese as well. And so just a great asset to the Leland. And he's gone with me to tours. I tour, of course, when somebody's anticipating on moving to the Leland, and he sticks right close with me. So,
well, you know, you wonder, you know, why would someone dump a dog like this? Is there something we don't know? But you've had him for all these weeks, and he is so gentle.
He
and
is.
I just can't understand. You know, you think, well, he wouldn't be good with, maybe they have kids or something, but he's good with everybody.
He is.
And I am just amazed that when you give him a treat, how
gentle
he is.
Yeah.
Here's Samson. Here's Samson. Would you like a treat? Huh? Would you like a treat? Look at that. Just so
he is.
gentle.
He's very gentle.
It's
and
just amazing.
And very obedient too. Of course, he's gravitated towards me. I think that rescue dogs just understand that concept, and when he sees Marcus too, he gets really excited to see him as well, because I just think that they're very in tune. And I've never experienced having a lab before, but I can tell you from here on out, I'll always have one. They're just really neat, emotional, instinctive dogs. And you're right, he gets along with everybody, loves kids, and is so gentle. He's also understanding, you know, not that he's ever been really hyper. He's not a gung-ho, breaking speed limit kind of dog, but he's very calm and very passive, and loves children too. So.
Well, he's perfect for the Leland. And, you know, I mean, pretty much your friend saved his life.
Yeah.
You know, and he's got such a loving home with so many people that love him. But, you know, we have a guest that's going to join us in a little bit, and she has a therapy dog. And we're going to learn more about her, you know, experiences with having a therapy dog. But, you know, Samson, that's what he is for those people down there at the Leland.
Absolutely, absolutely. And he, since his arrival at the Leland, it's been neat to see how I had posted on the Facebook page his story, and I write it on behalf of Samson, so it's kind of a fun twist. But from that, then the Palladium had picked up on the story. So then he was on the front page of the Palladium, and also a second page as well. So his story was out there. And then I got a call from the reporter that actually the Associated Press had really enjoyed his story as well. So I looked up last night. His story has been all across the nation now.
Oh my gosh.
And he's on some pet blogs, some lab sites, but he's in a paper in San Diego, in Washington, D.C., also Texas. So his story's really out there. And honestly, the experience of rescuing, I always joke around, I don't know who rescued who. Because it's just been, for myself, such a neat experience, but I also see what he's done for the Leland. But then on the flip side, just the transformation as far as this dog goes has been really, really neat. So,
well, the picture from the day that you got him to the picture now is amazing. You know, if dogs can smile, he's smiling now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And you know, I'd love to hear his story, what happened, but it's okay. You know, he's got a great life now, and I think he understands that.
Oh,
so.
yeah, he does. He's my pal.
Yeah, he's gotten to know you rather well. And
yes.
even with the Senior Expo last week, I mean, we're not sure the number, but probably around 650 or so, or even more. But I took him out, and he was very pleasant, and it didn't rock his world at all. So he was enjoyable.
When I was there one day at the Leland, and we were in the lobby, and there was a couple gentlemen and a lady sitting, one in a wheelchair and over on the couch. And as soon as he came out, the smiles on their face instantly, you know, and they're, come on over. And, it's just amazing and how that can make someone feel good.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. The residents, there was even one lady who, she wasn't too sure, and she's never really had dogs around her, but my goodness, she's really gravitated towards him as well. And I always laugh too. They may not remember my name, but they sure remember Samson's name. So it's neat to see the people that were, maybe very backwards, or maybe they're in pain, and so they're not feeling well, and they may not have a good attitude, but he can walk through the room and just everyth's all over it.
Yeah, so, put the smiles on their face, and they forget about all their aches and pains.
Exactly.
I mean, it really does. It really does happen, and you just break out in a smile and feel good. So with him around, but it's just such a neat, heartwarming story.
It is.
And especially to think that he's a star now.
Yeah.
I mean, I want his autograph, He's all over the place.
Well, my sister, she works in Washington, D.C. for NPR Radio, and she goes, I don't even make the paper, and this dog is in the paper. So. Okay. Very good.
All righty. Well, we stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Whitewater Community Television is Wayne County's public education and government access center. WCTV provides a chance for residents to view local government meetings, church services, sports, and cultural events. We need your help to fulfill our mission. If you'd like to learn to run a camera for a meeting or a sporting event, give us a call. It's fun, and you decide how much time to volunteer. WCTV, for the community, by the community.
Hi, I'm Kathy Bridgford with the Area 9 Agency on Aging and the host of Inside Area 9. Area 9's mission is to keep people living independently for as long as possible by providing services in the home. Those services are Meals on Wheels, caregiver support, respite care, as well as case management that can link you up to an array of in-home services. You can visit our website or our library located at our office for more information.
Welcome back to Inside Area 9. We have another guest with us. Today we've been talking about dogs and the therapy and how they help seniors. And we have Julia Roberts, and Alvin has joined us. And Julia, tell us about Alvin. Now, what kind of a dog is he?
Alvin is a Leonberger. It's a rare German breed, just became AKC recognized about 3 years ago. And they are about 150 to 180 pounds, and they were bred to do drafting and water rescue, search and rescue as well.
Now, you are a certified trainer, or you certify them, right?
I can
tell us how that works.
Well, I do classes as well. People that are interested in doing the therapy dog teamwork with their partner, and I can do the classes, and then there's an evaluation through Therapy Dogs International, which is a test that the dog has to pass with the handler to become Therapy Dogs Internationally certified.
Okay. Now, where did you get Alvin at?
Alvin came from breeders in Louisville, Kentucky called Redwood Trails. He's now 3.5.
Oh my gosh.
And we've had him since he was 8 weeks, specifically to train him for the therapy dog program that we do.
He is so sweet. You've got such a big head.
He does have a big head. No, you can't go.
He knows I'm talking about
him. He wants to get up and come visit. That's what he does.
Yes, he does.
We don't want the dogs.
Now, you go around to the hospitals and to nursing homes. Tell us about that.
We do go to a lot of the hospitals. We have the nursing homes a lot in the area and out of the area that we go to. Anywhere that we're directed is kind of where we go. We work with some of the children in the schools that have autism and special needs. Alvin actually rang the bell for Salvation Army several years in a row at Walmart.
Aww.
So he just kind of does a lot of different things. We try to mix it up a little bit because sometimes they can get in a slump too, where people are depressed and sad, and so we want to keep him enjoying it and having fun and not burning him out on just one specific thing.
Well, I can see the ringing the bell would be completely different.
Oh,
so
it's very fun. Yes.
I bet he had fun with that. Now, what does he do when he goes out and visits with people?
I kind of let Alvin do his own thing. He seems to gravitate to the people that need him the most. There's people, somehow he has trained himself, people that are in wheelchairs, he will get over their lap without putting any pressure, but they feel like they're holding him. So that makes them feel good. He also, we were at the hospital and we go to the infusion area. There's people that sit there hour after hour getting chemo treatment and that kind of thing. He was visiting with one lady that was having the infusion, but he would visit her and then kept going over to the other lady that brought her. And so I just let him do that, and then the lady asked me, does he know who is ill? And I said, he seems to, and that's when she said, I'm terminally ill. And he ended up just laying at her feet. So that's why I said I just let Alvin do what Alvin knows best and follow his lead.
Yes, his senses. Yes, oh my gosh. Well, we were just talking with Amanda with the Leland's dog, Samson. And kind of the same thing, that he sort of just gravitates towards the people that seem to need it. And, do you think, I don't know much about therapy dogs. Do you think it's just a certain breed of dogs that do this? I usually hear more of the bigger dogs that do that type of work.
Of the therapy work, there's a lot of different breeds, mixed breeds, small, large.
Is there?
Any dog that loves people and children can be a therapy dog. You just have to take the training. The socialization is very, very important. We started him out. A lot of the facilities here know me because I've had therapy dogs for almost 20 years, so they know what I'm doing and the purpose, and they will allow us in before certification to take him around and get him used to walkers and wheelchairs and even respirators and things that we don't smell and hear they do. So they need to be exposed to all of that at an early age, and that's part of what we do in our class as well.
Now, what kind of a dog did you have before Alvin?
A Newfoundland named Oliver. He was fantastic too.
Okay. Oh, golly.
And it's been neat because Alvin actually has been coming to the Leland as well.
Oh, really?
And so I had a conversation with Julia. She was kind of keeping an eye out for a dog for the Leland as well.
Okay.
But it's been really neat to me too that Alvin, when he comes to our building, what I've noticed, and now with Samson too, we're in healthcare, and so obviously the employees have to give a lot and don't necessarily get in return. And so what I've noticed with Samson and also Alvin is that the employees probably gravitate more towards these dogs than even the residents do. And I noticed it with Alvin, and I had even shared that with Julia, that there would be like a dozen employees and maybe a few residents. So I think that's important too when people think about therapy. It's not necessarily just the people at the nursing home or assisted living, but the employees benefit greatly from it as well.
So the staff at the hospital just, they'll lay on the floor with him. They don't have easy jobs either. And so it's a big relief. And if we don't go visit the nurses' stations in all the different areas, we kind of hear about it later.
Yes, you do.
So yeah, they look forward to it as much. And then the families, we go to the waiting room a lot. There's a lot of people that are in the waiting room with really stressful situations, and we've gotten emails and things because we have Alvin cards that we hand out when we're out and about, and we have our email on there. Plus he has his own Facebook Facebook fan club page, and we've had a lot of pictures put on there of his visiting not only with the staff. We've had the nurses, and a couple of your girls laid on the floor with him to get hugs and things. It just makes them feel good too. So yeah, it's about everybody. Anybody, what we say, anybody that needs an Alvin hug or a Samson hug.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, I was amazed when you first got here, and he just came over and almost like sitting on my lap. You know, I mean, he's just a very, you know, cuddly. As big as he is, he's very cuddly. You know.
Well, that's what people say. He's not a lap dog, is he? And they say yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Any chance he gets.
Yes, he is.
And I think dogs, I mean, I have 2 Boston Terriers, and they're hyper, they're crazy. But I do have the one that's more hyper out of the 2. He loves to go up to the people that are in wheelchairs, and he'll snuggle with them. And I'm just like, who is that dog, and what did you do with mine? You know, because that's so out of characteristic with him. But he's very calm and peaceful, and he's very nurturing. And so, of all dogs, I would have never imagined that one would be that way.
Well, and that's why I tell people, they'll say, my dog would never do that because he's too hyper. I said, you don't know. Get him in that situation, and you'll be surprised because you don't know. They know, they understand, and they feel.
Yeah. And, you know, there are people, I'm sure, that don't like animals very much for one reason or the other. But, you know, we have a girl at the office that brings her dog in the morning to take him to be groomed. He's just there for a very short amount of time, you know, at the beginning of the day and the end of the day. And, you know, he comes running down the hall, and it's the first thing everybody wants to do is get up out of their chair and just run over to him because it just makes you feel so good, you know? So, you know, and I don't know, I just see smiles on everybody's faces when I see an animal with somebody. You know, they're always smiling.
Well, and that's what happens too. Like we're walking down the halls of the hospital, and you know, people just start smiling, you know, way before they ever get to him. And so, you know, a little smile.
Exactly. And, you know, they've done a lot of research. I'm not really up on it, but I know they've done a lot of research on how people that are living alone, the changes in them, you know, when they get an animal or even in a facility, you know. I think it's, you know, it's shown that people live longer, you know, because they're happy, you know.
Well, and that's one thing that the residents have said, that for one reason or another they couldn't care for their dog. Although we do allow pets, it's just a huge responsibility. And that's what they said, that, you know, having Samson, or when Alvin comes in, it's their animal fix, their dog fix, because they more than likely have had an animal their entire life. And then at the most critical time in their life, they don't have that love and nurturing. And so that's where, even in the last few months with Samson, I've just, you know, a huge advocate. I was before with Alvin. You'd see Alvin out ringing the bell, Salvation Army. I saw him at Hobby Lobby one time. And the community is starting to get to know him as well. But he's therapeutic for anyone, no matter the age. So.
And, you know, I mean, Samson is a rescue dog, and you know, he turned out to be a therapy dog, you know, and he was just rescued. But, you know, we have some good help shelters in the area. And, you know, if people would just, you know, go and check them out, because they are so sweet, some of the animals over there. And don't be afraid to get an older dog, because, you know, and so many times people say, oh, I just want a puppy, you know. But, you know, a puppy is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
We rescued 2 female Newfies at the age of 8, and within 9 months they both had their therapy dog certification.
And, you know, too, I think for them, you know, I know with Samson, it was a progression of his health has improved even, you know, from his arthritis and his hips and everything. I just think that it goes both ways for him too.
They need a purpose.
Yeah, they do. They need a purpose and a belonging. And, you know, as far as Samson goes, I just think that it's somebody else's trash was our treasure. And I mean, I look at that as a magnitude. And so if somebody does find themselves in a situation that maybe they can't keep their dog, it's really important to persevere too. Because since that time that I've had Samson, I've probably had 50 people say, I'll take him if it doesn't work out. So with a little bit of effort, and I know Julia works for a vet clinic too, with a little bit of effort, you can always find a good home for that pet. So that's important as well.
That is a good point. That's a very good point. And, you know, whatever happened to Samson, that he got left, well, like you said, we'll never know, but we don't care at this point.
Yeah.
You know, we
Yeah,
don't understand it.
Sure.
You know, but you know, it's just not. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just so neat. And Alvin just does such good work. He's such a good boy. How old did you say he was? 3?
3.5.
3.5. Now he probably eats a lot, doesn't he?
Really, actually, he eats only about 8 cups a day because he's so laid back.
Oh,
so some
okay.
of the smaller breeds may eat just as much or even more than him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always think of a bigger person eat more, you know,
Yeah.
that's not the
Right.
Depends on the energy level, but he's fast. He likes to run and he likes to play and he loves the water. So he gets a lot of
Oh,
exercise.
he likes the water too.
He loves the water. He's a great
Oh, my
swimmer.
gosh.
As a
Well,
matter of
that's
fact, we have a
wonderful.
wading pool and he won't leave anything in that pool. He rescues the toys and sticks or anything that's in that pool out.
Well, I want to thank both of you for coming today and being on our show. It's just such a warm-hearting story of both of you, and you both do really good work. So we really, the community appreciates it.
Thank you.
And thank you both so
Thank you
much
for
for the time
inviting
that
us.
you
Thank you.
spend doing this. So. Well, thank you for joining us today, and Amanda and Julia and Samson, and oh, now he's going to lay down, and Alvin. So, yes, I called your names. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. All right.